Get up. You don't belong here. The flight attendant's voice was sharp, cold, and carried through the luxury cabin of the plane. Every passenger turned. Some smirked, some whispered, some simply stared at the tall black man in the tailored suit, seated in the front row of VIP. The man didn't answer. He simply looked up, calm, steady, unshaken. No one knew that this so-called passenger wasn't just a traveler. He was the billionaire owner of the very airline they were flying on. Asterisk, the entitled white passenger behind him sneered, his arrogance dripping like venom. Finally, someone recognizes real status. The flight attendant crossed her arms, glaring at the black man. Sir, please move to economy. This seat is reserved for our valued guests. A hush fell over the cabin. Some passengers gasped. Others pulled out their phones to record, their screens glowing in the dim light. The man slowly stood. His silence echoed louder than any protest. He stepped aside with the dignity of a king, his head held high, while the smug passenger slid into the stolen seat with a self-satisfied grin. The humiliation was complete. Or so they thought. His name was David Carter, a billionaire, a widowed father, a man who built an empire from nothing. Years ago, David had been a janitor cleaning airport floors while raising his little girl after his wife passed away. Every spilled cup of coffee, every insult he swallowed, every overnight shift, he endured it all, dreaming of a better future for her. Through relentless sacrifice and unbreakable determination, David rose from those floors to the heights of global business. He bought the very airline he once mopped floors for, and yet, today, in his own airline, in his own cabin, he was treated like nothing. The crew ignored him as if he were invisible. The smug passenger leaned back, sipping champagne with a smirk. Much better? He chuckled. David quietly walked down the aisle, his expensive shoes echoing against the carpet. Every step was deliberate. The injustice burned, but he didn't explode. He had learned long ago that silence carried more power than rage. Passengers watched, uneasy. Some turned away, afraid to speak. Others whispered, angered by what they saw but unwilling to stand. David stopped near the back of the plane. And then he turned. His calm voice sliced through the murmurs. Do you know who I am? The flight attendant scoffed, rolling her eyes. You're just another passenger. Sit where you belong. David reached into his jacket. Slowly, he pulled out a sleek black ID card edged in gold. The cabin fell silent. The airline crest gleamed. His name was engraved beneath it. David Carter, CEO and owner. The attendant's face drained of color. The smug passenger choked on his drink. The crew staggered back, frozen in disbelief. David's voice was calm but carried the weight of thunder. I am the man who owns this airline. And you, he said, locking eyes with the attendant, just told your boss he doesn't belong in his own seat. Asterisk, the cabin froze. The smug passenger stammered, his arrogance crumbling. The attendants fell to their knees, begging for forgiveness. Their confidence dissolved into fear, but David didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. You are all relieved of duty, he said firmly. Effective immediately. The words hit like a hammer. The crew staggered, their jobs gone in an instant. The passenger's face turned pale as the weight of his mistake pressed down on him. Justice had been served, not with anger, but with undeniable authority. Asterisk David walked back to his rightful seat, every passenger's eyes fixed on him. One by one, people began to clap. First softly, then louder, until the entire cabin filled with applause. It wasn't just respect for his title. It was respect for his dignity, for his patience, for his silent strength. A woman leaned to her son and whispered, "Remember this. True power doesn't shout. It stands tall and lets truth speak." And so, David Carter sat back, not with bitterness, but with quiet pride. Because dignity will always outshine arrogance. And respect once denied will always demand to be. Seemed that the cabin's applause wasn't for wealth. It wasn't for power. It was for the man who proved that silent strength can bring the loudest justice of all.